Awesome. Welcome back to another transit report. This transit is for what we just entered. So we entered a new transit like late August 5th, early August 6th. And because I'm honoring my time boundaries, I am doing it today on the 7th, which is just in time for Lionsgate. Everyone's been talking about Lionsgate. Oh my gosh, the energy. We just had a new moon on Sunday. So manifestation energy is in the air. And so I thought it was, even though it may not have been on the 6th, it was a great time to do this report so that you can have the knowledge of what is going on right now in the air on earth here, so that you can enter into Lionsgate with all of that manifestation power and use it to the best of your ability. So without further ado, let's get into the energy. So in these reports, I always like to focus on the sun and the earth gates. So that way, you know, kind of what the life force energy is, what the driving energy is. And then you also know kind of the energy that sustains it or balances it. So gate 7 is in our sun right now. And so for those of you who are just tuning in or not used to me talking about human design is a way that you can look at your energy and see your unique gifts, your unique strengths, and really step into those authentically and without apology. Because a lot of times, because of our conditioning, whether that be from our friends, from our family, from society, we tend to believe that some of the things that are natural and innate in us are wrong. And we lean into beliefs that probably do not serve us. And consequently, we get knocked out of alignment with who we truly are. So if you haven't pulled your human design body graph chart yet, you can do so on my website, diamonddripconsulting.com. Anyway, gate 7. So gate 7 is the gate of the role of self. And this is in our sun this week until the 11th. And so this is who we are, what we do. This is what is really showing up for us right now. And so this energy specifically leads to leadership and manifests itself in many ways, from democracy. So, kind of that diplomatic energy, to dictatorship. The energy is the energy. It's the role of self. It's these people who have this gate 7, and we all have it temporarily activated with this transit. These people are innate. They have an innate impulse to influence others. They can be thought, this gate can be thought of as like the power behind the throne. And so these people usually don't have the power of the public influence, although they embody the essence of leadership. They kind of need the harmonic gate that's reaching up above it in order for that to kind of kick into place. So they lead the masses, introducing a new rhythm into society or destroying the old one. If you have this gate naturally, you will feel this sort of need, this reaching out for the 31st gate, which is on the harmonious end within the throat center. And you may have some conditioning around this. So if you know people who have this 31st gate activated, you may kind of lean towards and listen to what they think or what they say. And so this 31st gate that I keep referring to, that's on the opposite end of the 7, it gives them a voice and status in order to be heard by the masses. When you have both the 7, which is activated right now in our sun, and the 31st gate, which is not being activated right now, there's this tremendous power to influence people. I only have the 7, and so I'm experiencing this energy a little bit more during this transit. And so what is the 7? So if you have gate 7, you have an innate and natural impulse to lead, but the key is to not try to take leadership. So don't try and force your way in there. These energies are meant to be recognized or invited to lead first. It's quite common for people with this gate to be put into leadership roles by a group. That's where you are meant to be. Your challenge is to master the need to be in front and allow yourself to serve through building teams, collaborating, and influencing the figurehead of leadership. This is 100% something that I had to learn. Like I said, I normally have this gate 7, and I used to always try to figure out ways of how I can be in charge, as it were. And that leads me to the shadow. So whenever I do these transit reports, I always try and give you what you may be experiencing this energy as, so you know, like, oh yeah, this has been showing up in me. So in the repressive, it is a fear of inadequacy as a leader. So they avoid being a leader or being seen. In the reactive, they may be a dictator and lead others by force and manipulation, which leads to disempowerment and resentment of others, especially when, like I said, they try and force their way, and then they feel like, why aren't these people listening to me the way that I want them to listen to me? And then there's kind of like this bitter taste in your mouth. So those are the two, repressive versus reactive. And so, as usual, you can find these reflection journal questions on my blog, which again, the website is diamonddripconsulting.com. The blog should be published probably later tonight or tomorrow for sure by end of day. And so when we think about this gate, there are 3-4 questions to consider to kind of see how you can tap into the gift frequency of this. So what are my gifts and strengths? That's number one. Because if you want to lead and you want to be able to help affect change in this really influential way, you have to know what your gifts and your strengths are. Number 2 is, how do I use those gifts to influence and lead others? Number 3 is, do I fear I don't have what it takes to lead? So this is kind of forcing you to think about this fear of inadequacy as a leader. Do you shy away from the light? And if so, what do I need to do to feel more comfortable stepping into my role as a leader? So those are some reflection questions just for now. If you need them again, they will be on the blog. So make sure you stay tuned for that. The other energy that I always like to highlight during these lives is the earth. So the conscious earth gate. This is how we ground. This is how we balance. This is how we find our stability. And so when we look at the transit, we have gate 13 in our conscious earth, which is the gate of the listener. And I'm going to get into the gate of the listener, but I love that these two are being activated, because in order to be an effective leader, you have to listen to the problems and the pain points of your people so that you can address what needs to be addressed, not just what you think needs to be addressed. So, So this gate 13, the gate of the listener, is an energy to be listening and open that attracts others to come and share their experiences. When we feel heard, we want to speak more. Simple as that. So people with a natural gift for listening to others, such people often hear things that others fail to hear. If they wait, they will soon hear all of the secrets. They're going to get all of the tea, if you will. They are born chroniclers of experience and history. In their presence, people tend to share what has happened to them. Gate 33 is the harmonious gate to gate 13. And so last week, we actually had this activated in our conscious sun. So we had some of this this gate 33 energy, this gate of privacy or retreat to reflect on past experiences. And so this gate 33 is needed to remember and bring to light what they've heard. It's one thing for a bunch of people to tell you their secrets and their life story and to reflect on their experiences, but it's a whole nother thing to be able to actually reflect that back and bring it into your leadership. So gate 13 is what's being activated by our earth right now. And if you have gate 13, you actually have this channel, this necessary channel to I think, be an effective leader. So if you're feeling the influence of this gate 7 in our sun, and you have the 13 being activated by the transit, and you already have 33, if you're not sure of these things, I highly encourage you to head to my website and pull your chart so that you can figure out and learn what I'm saying right now. Yeah. So otherwise, the secrets may never come out. If you don't have this gate 33, they may never come out. They may just what's the phrase? Take it to the grave with you. So without gate 33, they keep the secrets. They keep the wisdom that they've learned from people like having shared these things to themselves. And so I think that it is of note, if you are going to check out the blog to grab the reflection questions, that when we look at 13, you'll see that there's a little up arrow there. And so what that means in human design speak is that it is exalted. And so with this gate specifically, gate 13, the flavor is pessimism. So it's this belief that what is best can never be achieved. And so there's a lack of trust that can only be transformed through concrete evidence. And the reason why I think that this is of note is because right now we have this 7 being activated, which is the gate of the role of self. It's very critical for being an influential leader. And then you have the 13, which is the gate of the listener, and it's being exalted. So that means that there's a natural pessimism of like, oh, I can't do that. And I think these two work really beautifully together because a lot of times as leaders, we have this thing in our head where we're like, I want to be here before I feel like I have something worthy or, whatever the word is to share with people. Otherwise, I'm just, right? My mess is my message at that point. And for some people that works, but for other people, through our conditioning, we've been conditioned to believe that you have to wait until you've hit a certain point of success. But the problem with that is that once you hit that point and you feel as though you're ready to share with your audience, it's hard to go back to where you started and to actually really connect with where they were. So if you can share when you're in the journey and you can reflect on these nuggets of wisdom and experience that you've learned, then that's imperative because your people can then come with you on the journey. You don't always have to wait until you're there. So diving deeper into this gate 13, gate of the listener, you're a great listener who others often easily open up to. Others perceive you as trustworthy and a keeper of secrets. So you may find that others often come to you to share many things about their lives. You are designed to be a recorder of experience and history as you attract the sharing of experiences from others. Your challenge is to reflect on which stories hold wisdom and value, and discern what and when they should be shared with others. And so when we think about the shadow expression of this, it's the shadow of discord in Gene Keys. And so in the repressive, it's an inability to listen, discern, and learn from experiences. There's a tendency to listen, but agree with others no matter what they say, and let others walk all over them. In the reactive, they can be the type to disagree with everything and be closed-minded against viewpoints that are not in agreement to their own. So if you are noticing that this energy is showing up in you, whether it be in the repressive or the reactive side, what I encourage you to do is to sit with some of these questions. And I am going to go through them rather quickly. but they will be on the blog on my website, diamonddripconsulting.com, so that you can, come back and sit with them and really just soak them in. So the first question is, what process do I have for reflecting on the stories shared with me by others? The second question is, what wisdom can be extracted from the stories that are shared with me, including my own experiences? And the last question is, how can I share the wisdom from these stories with others while honoring their privacy? This was, oh my gosh, I had done a reading a few weeks ago, and it was funny because he has this gate normally, and he told me, like, in high school, I believe it was, like, people would come and tell him all the secrets, and then he would just go spill the tea, and he'd be like, well, no one told me I couldn't spill the tea, whatever. And it would create a lot of, well, the shadow frequency is discord. And so as he got older and he learned, to discern this, how can I share wisdom from the stories while honoring their privacy, he was able to be a lot more effective, and people would continue to still tell him things. So those are the gates being activated this week, from the 5th until the 11th. I will be back on either the 11th or 12th, scheduled pending, to do another report so that you can learn what the energy is going to be for those set of 5 to 6 days. Because I really think that it's important that we, one, know our natural gifts and strengths, but when things are in our energetic environment based on what's going on with the celestial bodies, I think that it can be really cool to kind of observe how this is showing up in other people. Is it showing up in the reactive? Is it showing up in the repressive? And how can you develop empathy so that you can meet people where they are, whether it's showing up in the shadow, whether it's showing up in the gift expression, which is what we can all hope is that it's showing up in the gift expression, but not all the time. So really creating that empathy for those around us. And I've said it, I will continue to say it. If you have not looked at your body graph and understood where your strengths are, understood where you maybe have leaned into the shadows, leaned into the conditioning of what your friends say you should believe, what your family says you should believe, what society says you should believe. Notice the key word here, should. Do not should on yourself. It is not a place that you want to be. It actually is a place that can help you very quickly show up in whatever your not self theme is. If you're a generator, it's frustration. If you're a manifester, it's anger. If you're a projector, it's bitterness. So don't should on yourself. Learn what your true strengths and gifts are, and learn the places where you've been conditioned to believe whatever that belief is that's no longer serving you. So until the next transit report, I will be here if you have any questions. All right, cool.